The air itself seemed to scream, thick with the scent of burning earth and the echo of distant destruction. Lot ran, clutching his daughter's hands, pulling them through choking dust as the ground trembled beneath their feet, every muscle straining with desperation. Behind them, the sky was a canvas of fire and brimstone, Sodom and Gomorrah being erased from existence, their destruction lighting the horizon with a terrible, unnatural dawn. Lot did not dare look back, his eyes fixed on the uncertain path ahead, haunted by the knowledge of what he was leaving behind. The angel's command was absolute. Flee for your life. Do not look behind you. Do not stop anywhere in the plain. Every instinct screamed to turn, to see the world he once knew, but fear and faith drove him forward, step after agonizing step. The heat on his neck was a searing promise of annihilation, a warning that mercy was only for those who obeyed. His daughters stumbled, terror etched on their faces, their cries lost in the roar and chaos, clinging to their father as the world behind them vanished. They left behind home, friends, and a life now reduced to ash, memories dissolving in the smoke, swallowed by judgment. Each step was a victory against the pull of the past, a desperate grasp for an unknown future, every heartbeat a reminder of what was at stake. The path ahead led to the mountains, a stark, lonely existence, but it was life, a fragile hope in a world remade by fire. The smell of sulfur was overpowering, judgment made real, the earth itself bearing witness to the wrath that had fallen. Lot's heart hammered, marking their flight from damnation, each breath a struggle against despair. He was a man torn from his world, running on the razor's edge between oblivion and a fragile dawn, carrying the weight of survival and loss. Behind them lay only death, a total erasure, before them the uncertain promise of life and the hope that they might begin again. Before the fire there was torment. The city simmered with unrest and the air was thick with a sense of impending judgment. Lot lived as a righteous soul adrift in a sea of depravity. Every day he walked among people who celebrated excess and ignored the cries of the innocent. Sodom's prosperity masked a slow corrosion of the human spirit. Beneath the glittering surface, hearts grew cold and compassion faded. Day after day, Lot was confronted by lawlessness, a constant affront to his conscience. He saw injustice flourish and violence became routine. He was an outsider, his soul vexed by the city's evil. Surrounded by hostility, he felt the weight of isolation and sorrow, yet God saw him. In the midst of wickedness, Lot's struggle was not unnoticed. His prayers rose above the city's noise, reaching the heavens. The arrival of the angels was a direct response to Lot's righteousness. Divine messengers entered Sodom, bringing hope and warning. Lot offered them hospitality, a simple act that set him apart. In a world that had forgotten kindness, he opened his door to strangers. This marked him for salvation, even as it sealed the city's doom. His choice drew a line between destruction and deliverance. His rescue was a statement, even in darkness, righteousness matters. Light can break through even the deepest night. God's justice is discerning. He can distinguish the one from the many. No act of faithfulness is ever overlooked. Lot was not perfect, but he had not surrendered to the darkness. He struggled, but he never gave in. He was saved not for flawlessness, but for refusing to bow to evil. His courage to stand apart made all the difference. Lot's story proves God's grace can find you anywhere, even in Sodom. Even in the darkest places, hope and redemption are possible. The command was simple, spoken with the weight of destiny behind it, yet impossibly hard. Do not look behind you. In the chaos, every instinct screamed to turn, to see what was being left behind. It was a spiritual test, a moment that revealed where your heart truly lay, whether in the promise of the future or the comfort of the past. For Lot's wife, the pull of the past was too strong, the memories too vivid to abandon. Her heart was divided, fleeing toward salvation, but tethered to the life she'd known. She looked back, unable to let go of what was lost. In that instant, her fate was sealed, her choice irreversible. She became a pillar of salt, a silent monument on the edge of the wasteland, forever marking the cost of hesitation. So close to safety, her longing for the past anchored her forever, turning hope into loss. Her tragedy is the tragedy of being nearly saved, but not quite letting go. For Lot and his daughters it was a new horror, losing a wife and mother to a single fatal glance, a moment that would haunt them forever. Her fate underscored the seriousness of God's command, a warning not to be taken lightly. There could be no looking back, no lingering affection for the condemned world, no room for regret. Her form stood as a warning. When God calls you out, you must leave it all behind, no matter how much it hurts. To hesitate is to become part of the desolation yourself, to be frozen in the moment of indecision. The past, once condemned, must be left behind for good, or risk losing yourself to it forever. The mountain air was thin and cold, a stark contrast to the smoke they'd left behind. Their refuge was a cave, salvation that felt like a tomb. The world they knew had vanished, they were utterly alone. Lot, once respected, was now a fugitive in a hole in the ground. The shock of escape curdled into bottomless despair. Fear and trauma haunted them, memories of fire, screams, and the silent, salty figure of their wife and mother. The cave offered no protection from the ghosts in their minds. Hopelessness set in. They believed they were the last people on Earth, no community, no hope of rebuilding. Their lineage seemed destined to end in that cave. Lot, overwhelmed by grief, retreated into himself. Salvation had left him broken. In Sodom, faith was tested by wickedness. In the cave, by emptiness. The physical desolation mirrored their spiritual desolation. Their refuge was becoming a prison of despair, setting the stage for a desperate act. In the suffocating silence, a desperate idea took root. Lot's daughters, seeing no future, believed they were the last survivors. Their father was old, preserving their family line fell to them. Trauma and isolation warped their reasoning. There was no man left but their father. They devised a plan, using wine to cloud Lot's judgment. Each daughter lay with him on consecutive nights. Lot was oblivious, a victim of their deception and his own brokenness. The act was a tragic contrast to the righteousness that had saved them. In the darkness, the survivors of judgment committed a grievous sin to ensure their family's survival. The family that escaped Sodom's corruption created a new corruption of their own. The consequences of that desperate act were immediate. Both daughters conceived, one bore Moab, the other Ben-Ami. Their names marked the story of their origin. From these sons came two nations, Moabites and Ammonites. These peoples east of the Jordan became rivals and relatives to Israel. Their shared ancestry bred both connection and conflict. Yet, even from a tainted origin, redemption was possible. Ruth, a Moabite, became an ancestor of King David. The story is a sobering lesson. A single act can ripple through centuries. The names Moab and Ammon became reminders of a tragic legacy. Lot's story is more than ancient tragedy, it's a warning and a guide. His life in Sodom mirrors our struggle to live with integrity amid chaos. Sometimes righteousness means leaving comfort behind, as Lot did. The pillar of salt warns against divided hearts. True faith looks forward, not back. Trauma's scars linger. Survival is only the first step toward healing. Lot's family was saved, yet still fell into sin, reminding us of human frailty. The story urges us to live with conviction, leave sin behind, and lean on faith, not fear. From fire to darkness, Lot's legacy is a call to unwavering faith and repentance.